Hello YouTube, Sunburnt Media here, and thank you for joining me on the very first episode of Sunburnt Media. If you're wondering why the name Sunburnt Media, because I live in the area around Phoenix, Arizona, and it gets hot here, so it's very easy to get a sunburn. The purpose of this channel is to talk about cars, not just showing cool cars, which we're gonna do, but talk about like how they work, and basically show the internals, break down the components and how they function inside the car, not just in performance applications but in regular stuff, so that some viewers that may not know everything about cars can kind of get a feel of how they work. And I've actually partnered with Akina Motorsports in Tempe, Arizona. They've been so gracious in giving me a place to shoot and having some stuff on hand that I can show you guys, because I do have some stuff but not everything, and they've been awesome about it. Now, I do have to say that they are in the middle of a transition where they are moving to a bigger shop, which is awesome. Great for me, great for them, great for their customers. So we're going to have a larger place to shoot. It's going to be nice and clean at first, you know how shops go. But we're going to have a lot of stuff to talk about. So each week we're going to break down some stuff, maybe talk about the basics, how an engine works at first, and then kind of go into each one of these components as we talk about them. And then, you know, we'll get you a better understanding of how all of this stuff works. So anyway, to start this video off, I'd like to do a little bit of some gear, to talk about the gear that I'm going to be using to film, and just my setup, because a lot of these YouTube auto vloggers, they never really tell you what they're shooting with, and sometimes if they do, it's really quick and they don't really talk about it. So I want to get into that. My main camera that I'm using, that you're watching me on right now, is the Canon T5i. Now, it's 2017, and the T5i is a little bit of an older model. It was on sale, and that's why I bought it, but the most important thing is it did have that flip screen, so I can actually see myself and frame shots, and basically that's what the main important part of it was. Plus, I was able to to switch out lenses if I need to, which I'll talk about in a second. But the T7i is their current version. Pretty expensive. Couldn't make the the justification for that purchase yet. Maybe we'll upgrade to that later. But I am not using the kit lens for the T5i. I actually have the Canon 10 to 18 millimeter wide angle lens, which I'm also using a lens hood with, which I actually found out that you can't have it completely zoomed out, because the lens is so wide that it will actually show you the little corners of the lens hood. It's pretty crazy, like how wide this thing actually gets. So with that, I'm also using a Rode Video microphone, an external mic, because the standard microphone in the Canons are terrible. They're just awful. So an external mic on a Canon is an absolute must. It does have that dead cat wind muff on it, so when we go outside and if I'm walking around vlogging, the wind noise will be held to a minimum. Not saying it may go away completely, but it should be a lot less. With that, I'm also going to be using the iPhone 7 Plus, which does have the dual camera, and the iPhone 7 Plus does shoot in 4K, so if you do see some 4K footage, it's coming from this, not the Canon. Unfortunately, the Canon only shoots at the maximum of 1080p at 30 frames per second. We'll just have to make do. Maybe sometime down the line we'll upgrade to something else. I'm also using a Joby GorillaPod. The vlogger, it's a mainstay in the vlogging world. I am using the DSLR version, which is the one step down from the top of the line, but it actually holds its shape a lot better with the camera weight than their top one. I know Casey Neistat's had some issues with that, the top of the line one. The weight of his camera kind of causes it to fall over sometimes. This one, I've left it on a table for days and it's never moved at all. So I'm really happy with it. The other thing that I'm going to be using with the iPhone is I have this little attachment for if I ever use the iPhone. That'll be my actual point and shoot that I go around with sometimes. It's a little bit less conspicuous than walking around with a huge camera if I'm going into the store. Anyway, so this will allow me to put it on a stand. It does have the threads here, so I can actually switch this out and use my iPhone on the Joby, or I can put it on the tripod, which has extendable legs. It's a little cheapy one that I've had for years. Has a little swivel head, so on and so forth. And then to edit, I will be using a 2015 MacBook Pro. Although it was purchased in 2016, it does have all the ports that I wanted. It has the SD slot. It has the MagSafe, which if you pull the cord out or if you trip over it or something, it's not going to cause the laptop to go flying across the room. So really important when you've got a house with 3 dogs and you're kind of clumsy as on your own. If you're wondering about the whiteboard behind me, that is so we can do some diagrams of things that we're going to be talking about. So it's got a nice little foldable tripod that I have for it, a little stand. So that'll be going with me both here and Akino Motorsports, so we can kind of break things down. Not quite to the level of Engineering Explained. I'm not going to be writing out any kind of complex equations on the board, but maybe some diagrams. But it will be different than his channel because he talks about some of the basic stuff, but he doesn't go quite into detail on some of the things. But you'll see what I'm talking about as we go. So that's it as far as the introduction goes. Oh, by the way, if you guys ever hear any barking in the background, it's probably one of these guys. This is Chewy. He's the OG of the group. He was here first. This is Oscar, my little Sour Patch Kid. And this one's Teddy. He sings and dances. There he goes. Yeah, what do you think, Ted? Yeah. Sorry, didn't mean to bore you. What do you think, dude? What about you, Chewy? No? Teddy? No?